You are sitting at your desk on the third floor of the Space Sciences building, and the radiator is ticking. A slow, uneven rhythm, metal expanding in the cold. You have been listening to it for so long now that you notice when it stops, when the silence opens for a moment before the next tick arrives. The fluorescent lights overhead hum at a frequency you can almost but not quite ignore, a sound that lives just beneath the threshold of attention, steady and colourless and everywhere at once. Your pen rests against your thumb. The cap is off somewhere on the desk. You cannot remember removing it. The legal pad in front of you is covered in numbers, your handwriting growing smaller as the hours passed, tighter, more careful. You shift your weight in the chair and the springs creak just once, a sound so small it seems wrong that you can hear it, but you do, because there is nothing else. The building around you is empty. You know this not because you checked, but because you would have heard footsteps by now, a door closing somewhere below, the elevator groaning between floors. Instead, there is only the tick of the radiator, the hum of the lights, and beneath those sounds, something quieter still, the faint creak of wood or steel settling into itself, the way old buildings do at night as if they are finally allowed to rest. You look down at your hands on the desk. They are pale under the fluorescent glare, the shadows pooled in the creases of your knuckles. You flex your fingers, and the small motion seems large. You can feel the weight of your body in the chair, the pressure of the seat against your thighs, the way your spine curves forward slightly as you lean over the pad. Outside, beyond the window, the campus is dark. A few lights scattered across the quad, yellow and distant, but no movement, no cars, no voices, just the winter night pressing against the glass. You hear the radiator tick again, and you realize you have been counting the intervals without meaning to. Your mind trying to find pattern in something that has none. The building creaks once more, a sound from somewhere deep in the structure, a beam or joint adjusting to the cold, and you are aware suddenly of how much space surrounds you. How many empty rooms stretch out in all directions. How small this chair is, how small you are in it. The hum of the lights continues, the radiator ticks. You pick up your pen. You pull the yellow pad closer, the paper pale under the circle of lamplight, everything else in the room falling back into shadow. The lines are narrow, printed faintly in blue, and your handwriting fills them in a way that feels both careful and urgent. You wrote these numbers hours ago, some of them, and others only minutes past, and you can still see where the ink is wet on the last line, a faint sheen catching the light when you tilt the page. Your hand rests at the edge of the desk, fingers curled loosely, and the shadow it casts crosses 3 columns of figures, dividing them into before and after. You did not mean to rest your hand there, but now that you see it, you leave it, watching the way the shadow softens the numbers beneath. The pad is filled almost to the bottom of the page, margin to margin, and there is something about seeing it all at once that makes your chest feel tight. You wrote January 1st at the top, the Big Bang, 13.7 billion years compressed into a single moment, and then you worked forward, page by page, converting eons into months, months into days, days into hours. The math is simple, division, ratios, the kind of problem you could assign to an undergraduate, but the answers do not feel simple. You can see where you hesitated, a small ink blot next to September 4th, the formation of Earth, and another beside December 25th, the dinosaurs arriving in the late afternoon. Your handwriting is smaller there, tighter, as though you were trying to fit more onto the page than the page wanted to hold. And at the bottom, written larger than the rest, you see the line that made you stop. Recorded history. All of it, 10 seconds. You do not remember holding your breath while you read it, but you feel yourself exhale now, slow and steady, the air leaving your lungs without sound. The lamp hums faintly, a frequency you only notice in the silence after. Your shadow has not moved, still dividing the columns, and you realize you have been staring at the page long enough that the wet ink has dried. You place your fingertip at the top of the column. The paper is smooth, slightly waxy under the yellow coating, and you trace down through the first conversion. 13.7 billion years divided by 365. The pen moved here with confidence, the division clean. You can feel the grain of the paper where the ink sank in, tiny ridges that catch at your skin. Your finger pauses at the first answer. 37 million years per day. You check it against the margin note, the same number in smaller script. Verification. It holds. You move down. The paper has worn soft. Where you erased something earlier, a miscalculation caught and corrected. The surface slightly fuzzy. Now under your touch, 400 million years per month. The pen was pressing harder here. You can feel the indentation. You run your thumb over it and the number seems carved rather than written. Below that, the reduction of the Earth's age, 4.5 billion years. You divide again, your finger following the slash of the pen. Early September, the paper cool and dry. You were hoping just slightly that you had made an error here, that the Earth might form earlier, give the year more weight in its second half. But the arithmetic is sound. Your fingertip reaches the next line. Life appears. 3.8 billion years becomes late September. Simple cells in warm water. You press your nail against the decimal point, a tiny crater in the yellow surface. The paper gives slightly, then resists. You continue down. Oxygen in the atmosphere. November. The ink here is darker. You must have gone over it twice. You can feel the double stroke, one laid over the other. Multicellular life. Mid-December. Your finger slows. The column is narrowing now, compressing. The Cambrian explosion, December 19th. You trace the date and feel the texture change where your palm has rested on the page, the oils from your skin making the paper slightly slick. Dinosaurs. December 24th, Christmas Eve. You wrote this one and sat back. You remember staring at it. Your finger hovers over the number, not quite touching, then moves on. The asteroid. December 29th. 65 million years reduced to 2 days from the end. The texture of the paper is different here, rougher, as if you pressed too hard. Primates. December 30th. Your fingertip reaches the bottom of the page. 10:30 p.m. December 31st. Genus Homo. Your finger stops. You lift your hand and look at the final line, all of recorded history, the pyramids, Rome, the Renaissance, everything written down, everything named. You put your finger on the number and hold it there. The paper is warm now from your hand moving over it. 10 seconds. You press down and feel the slight give of the pad beneath. All those sheets of yellow paper under this one. You lift your finger, and the number is still there, unchanged. You had wanted it to be wrong. You reach for the pen. You look at the line that reads Earth forms September 14 and try to imagine 8 months of nothing before this planet existed. You lean back in the chair and feel the wood press against your spine in a way that tells you it has been pressing there for hours. Your lower back has begun to ache, a dull tightness just above the belt, and you shift your weight to the left, then to the right. But the ache does not leave, it only moves. You notice the heaviness in your thighs, the way your legs have gone slightly numb from sitting. You press your feet flat against the floor and feel the blood move back into them. A prickling warmth that is not quite pleasant. Your shoulders are tight. You roll them back and hear a small sound from somewhere in your neck, cartilage or tendon, something that has been held in place too long. The yellow pad is still in front of you, September 14th. You look at the numbers and think about what came before. 8 months of cosmic time, no ground, no sky, no water, only hydrogen clouds and gravity and the slow collapse of matter toward itself. You try to picture it, but all you see is the word September written in your own hand. You blink. Your eyes are dry. You have not blinked enough tonight. The air in the office is stale, warm from the radiator in the corner, and you realize you cannot remember the last time you took a full breath. You do it now. Fill your lungs, hold it, let it out slowly through your nose. The ache in your back does not change. You put your hand on the edge of the desk and feel the coolness of the wood under your palm. You press down slightly, testing your own weight. How much of you is here? How much is somewhere else in your mind? The chair creaks beneath you. You have been sitting in this chair for 3 hours, maybe 4. You did not mean to stay this long. There was only the idea, the calendar, the question of how to fit 14 billion years into something a person could hold. You look at your hand on the desk. The veins are visible under the skin, blue-green in the lamplight. Your knuckles are slightly swollen. You flex your fingers and feel the stiffness there, a small resistance in each joint. You are 42 years old. You have a body that reminds you of this when you sit too long in one position. You shift again in the chair and the ache in your back sharpens briefly before settling back into its dull persistence. The pad is still in front of you. September, 8 months. You cannot imagine it. You can only feel the chair, the desk, the radiator ticking in the corner, the weight of your own body holding you here, now, in this room, on this night, 1 second at a time. You lift your eyes from the pan, and there it is. A window in the building across the yard, a rectangle of yellow light suspended in the dark. The courtyard between you is narrow, maybe 50 feet, and the light from that window reaches you clearly, pale and steady. You can see the edge of a desk, the corner of a bookshelf, but not the person. They are somewhere deeper in the room, past the frame. You wonder what they are working on, whether they are writing, calculating, reading something that will not let them go. The thought begins to form and then drifts, incomplete. You do not pursue it. There is something oddly companionable about the presence of that light, even without knowing who sits behind it. Another mind awake when the rest of the building has gone dark. The campus is silent at this hour, no footsteps in the halls, no voices, just the hum of the heating system, low and constant, and the faint creak of your chair when you shift your weight. You look back, down at your own desk, at the numbers spread across the yellow paper. September 9th, the date you calculated for the formation of the Earth, written in blue ink, circled twice. You remember checking the arithmetic, converting billions of years into days, then into hours, watching the decimal places shrink, feeling something like vertigo when the numbers finally resolved. And now you look up again, and you see your own window reflected in the glass across the yard, a second rectangle of light overlapping the first. You can see the edge of your desk in that reflection, the lamp, the shadow of your own head and shoulders, a silhouette against the bright page. For a moment, you are seeing both windows at once, yours and theirs, layered, as if they are the same room, the same wakefulness. You blink, and the illusion separates. You wonder if they can see you too, whether they have looked up and noticed this window, another light burning past midnight, whether they wonder what keeps you here. The thought does not complete itself. It hangs in the quiet, unanswered. You realize you have been holding the pen without writing, the tip resting on the paper, leaving a small blue dot where the ink has pooled. You set it down carefully. Your hand is tired, the edge of your palm smudged with ink from dragging across the lines. You flex your fingers, stretch them, feel the stiffness in the joints. Outside, the light in the other window does not waver. Whoever is there is still working, still awake. You do not know their name, their field. What question has them calculating or reading at this hour? And it does not matter. There is only the light, steady, and the dark around it, and the sense that you are not alone in this, not the only one who cannot stop, who keeps going when the building empties, who follows a thought past the point of tiredness into something else. You look down at the pad again. At the next line, you need to write December 24th, the arrival of the dinosaurs. Your gaze returns to the page, to the line that places the dinosaurs on December 24th, and you think about the length of their reign. 165 million years. You have written the number in the margin, underlined it twice. On the cosmic calendar, it spans 4 days, December 21st to December 26th, 4 days out of 365, and yet 165 million years. You try to hold both numbers in your mind at once, the 4 days and the eons, and feel something slip between them. Some failure of translation your equations cannot solve. The mug sits beside your hand, white ceramic, a brown ring dried at the waterline where the coffee has been sitting since. You cannot remember. Hours ago. The smell reaches you now, faintly. Bitter, stale, the particular flatness of something that was once hot. You reach for it without thinking, your fingers closing around the handle, but you do not lift it. The weight feels wrong. You set it back down, your palm returning to rest on the desk, on the wood worn smooth by years of this. Your hand in this exact place, reaching, writing, pausing. The radiator ticks softly against the wall, a sound you stopped hearing hours ago, but that returns now, insistent, rhythmic. The air it pushes into the room smells dry, dusty, the smell of old paint and metal heated past comfort. You breathe it in and feel it catch slightly in your throat. On the page, December 24th, the great reptiles walking through forests that no longer exist, beneath skies you could calculate the color of if you had the atmospheric data, hunting, sleeping, dying for 165 million years, and then gone. December 26th. An asteroid probably, the numbers suggest it, a rock 6 miles wide, moving at 20 miles per second, and 4 days end. You think about the kings again, the ones who believed their empires would last forever, whose names are carved into stone as if stone could not erode. 10 seconds. The dinosaurs had 4 days. You look at the mug again, the surface of the coffee perfectly still. No steam, no shimmer of heat. You could get up and make a fresh pot. The department coffee maker is down the hall. 30 seconds to walk there, 3 minutes to brew. But you do not move. Your hand stays where it is, the yellow pad beneath it, the column of numbers that compress everything into a single year. The radiator ticks. The dry air moves across your face. Somewhere in the building, maybe on another floor, you hear a door close, the sound muffled and distant, and then nothing. You write the next line. Humans appear at 10:30 p.m. on December 31st. Your pen moves slowly, forming each numeral with care, as if precision could somehow make the number less strange. 10:30. The smell of cold coffee, the sound of the radiator, the empty hall. You look at the next line. December 31st, 10:30 in the evening. First, humans. Your pen rests against the paper, but you do not write anything more. The number sits there, quiet, factual. It means that everything before this moment in the cosmic calendar, the formation of galaxies, the birth of stars, the long cooling of planets, the first stirring of life in ancient oceans, all those billions of years happened before humans walked upright. You try to feel the weight of that, try to make it mean something more than arithmetic. Outside, a siren begins, faint through the glass, rising in pitch as it approaches some emergency you will never know about. Someone's crisis, someone's last moments or first moments, or the moments in between that require speed and light and sound. The siren peaks and then falls away. Doppler shift. You have explained this to students 100 times. The stretching of waves, the mathematics of motion, but tonight you just listen to it fade until there is only the hum of the building again. You set the pen down, your hand is tired, your eyes are tired, but you are not ready to stop. 10:30 p.m. You think about the people who became people in that moment, not in any real moment. No one stood up and became human at a specific hour, but in the calendar you have made they did. They arrived late to a party that had been going on for billions of years, and they looked around and began to name things, to paint on cave walls, to bury their dead with flowers. You do not know why that matters, but it does. The siren is gone now. You wonder if whoever needed it is safe, if the emergency passed or deepened, if the last 10 seconds of someone's personal calendar just ticked away in the back of an ambulance. You press your palms against your eyes. You have been trying to understand this, to feel the scale of it, to make it visceral, but you realize now that you have stopped trying. You are simply sitting with it, the way you sit with any fact too large to hold, the distance to the nearest star, the age of light, the patience of stone. It does not fit in your mind, but it fits on the page. The numbers are correct. You have checked them. and the universe does not need you to understand it. It simply is. You lower your hands. The legal pad is still there, the next line waiting. You can see where this is going now, how small the remainder will be. You set the pen down and pick it up again. The cap is smooth under your thumb, still warm from where your hand has held it. You press the edge of it gently against the pad of your finger, not hard enough to hurt, just enough to feel the resistance, the small solidity of a thing made to fit a human hand. You turn the pen over. The barrel catches the desk lamp's light, a thin stripe of yellow reflection that moves as you rotate it. You have held this pen for 3 hours tonight, maybe longer. You have lost track. The cap comes off with a faint click, and you set it on the desk beside the legal pad. The nib is black, still wet. You do not write anything yet. You look at the page, at the line you have just finished. December 31st, 11:59:50 p.m. Recorded history begins. You read it again, slower this time, your eyes tracing the ink. The cuneiform tablets, the pyramids, Rome, the library at Alexandria, the printing press, every king whose name you learned in school, every war, every treaty, Shakespeare, Newton, Jefferson, Darwin, all of it. 10 seconds. You blink. Your eyes are dry. You have not looked away from the desk in a long time. Outside, the window across the courtyard is still lit, a single rectangle of pale gold against the dark brick. You wonder if the person in that room knows what time it is. You wonder if they have also lost track. Your thumb finds the edge of the pen cap again, resting on the desk. You press down on it gently, and it rocks slightly under the pressure, a small movement, barely perceptible. You do this twice more, pressing and releasing, feeling the tiny give and return. It is a fidget, nothing more, but it anchors you. Your hand is real. The pen is real. The desk is real. The numbers on the page are also real. You set the pen down flat on the desk and place both palms on the wood. The surface is cool, smooth, slightly dusty under your left hand. You can feel the faint texture of the grain through the varnish. You spread your fingers and press down. Not hard, just enough to feel the solid weight of the desk pressing back. You are sitting in a building at Cornell University. In the winter of 1976, the building is mostly empty. The air is dry and still. The radiator near the wall ticks softly as the metal contracts. You are 42 years old. You have written several books. You have taught hundreds of students. You have spent years trying to help people understand what the universe is, how old it is, how large, how indifferent to the human need for meaning. And tonight, alone in this room, you have done the arithmetic. You have written it down, and now you are holding a pen, pressing your thumb against its cap, feeling the small, ordinary weight of it, and you realize that you are one of the 10 seconds. Not even one full second, a fraction, a flicker. You take a breath. The air is cool in your throat. You pick up the pen again. You do not know yet what you will write next, but your hand is steady, and the page is waiting, and the person across the courtyard is still awake. When you look up again, the light across the courtyard has gone off. The window that had been a small yellow square against the dark is now just glass, black and reflective, showing you only the lamp on your desk and the edge of your own shoulder. You had not noticed the person leave, had not seen the light switch off, but now the courtyard is empty, and the building around you feels larger than it did before. You set the pen down and lean back in the chair. the wood creaking once, then settling. Outside, there is one street lamp still burning at the far edge of the quad, its light pooling on the brick pathway, reaching no farther than the first few trees. Everything else is shadow, the kind of dark that comes only in the deepest part of the night, when even the sky seems to have drawn closer. You can see your reflection now in the glass, faint, doubled by the lamp behind you, your face half lit, the rest lost in the room's dim edges. The yellow pad on the desk glows under the light, its surface covered in your handwriting, numbers stacked in careful columns, lines drawn to separate the months. September, December, the 31st. You have been alone in this room for hours, but it is only now, with the last other light gone, that you feel the full weight of the quiet. It is not unpleasant, not the loneliness of being forgotten, but something closer to the feeling of staying up late as a child, when the house had gone to sleep and you were the only one awake, the only one still thinking. The silence hums faintly. The building's heating system, perhaps, or the electricity in the walls, a sound so low you feel it more than hear it. You rest your hand on the edge of the desk, the wood cool and smooth under your palm, and you think about the 10 seconds again, not as a problem to solve now, but as a fact to sit with. The universe is 13.7 billion years old. You have written that number at the top of the page, underlined it twice, and in the scale of a single calendar year, all of human history occupies the span of time it takes to inhale and speak a single sentence. You exhale slowly, your breath visible for a moment in the cool air of the office, and the lamp flickers once, almost imperceptibly, then holds steady. The courtyard remains dark, the glass remains a mirror, and you are still here, awake, alone with the numbers. The calculation is finished, you know that, and yet you have not stood up, have not turned off the light, have not left the room. Something holds you here, not the work itself, but the strange comfort of being the only person awake in this corner of the world, the only one watching the night deepen, the only one thinking about the 10 seconds at the end of the year. You pick up the pen, and the weight of it surprises you, as if it has been sitting on the desk for years instead of minutes. Your wrist aches faintly where it rests against the edge of the pad, the heel of your hand pressing into paper that has gone soft from hours of contact. You hold the tip just above the bottom margin, not writing yet, just feeling the small tremor in your fingers that comes when you have been awake too long. The pen hovers, and you notice how your whole arm has become heavy, the shoulder pulling downward, the elbow wanting to sink. Your body is asking for something you are not yet ready to give it. You blink slowly, and when your eyes open again, the numbers on the page blur for a moment before resolving. You shift your weight and feel the chair creak beneath you. A sound so familiar you have stopped hearing it, except in moments like this, when everything is quiet enough that the room begins to speak. Your torso sways slightly, forward, then back. A motion you're not directing, just the body's own rhythm as it begins to let go. You steady yourself, fingers tightening around the pen, and you lower the tip to the paper. The ink meets the surface, and you write without deciding what the sentence will be, just letting the words arrive as they choose. It is not a conclusion, not a summary, just something that feels true in this moment, that the 10 seconds are not smaller than what came before, only more densely packed. That brevity is not the same as insignificance. You finish the sentence and your hand stops. The pen rests against the paper and you do not lift it. You sit there, looking at what you have written, and you feel a strange finality settle over the page, not because the thought is complete, but because you know you will not read it again tonight. You will leave it here, at the bottom of the pad, and tomorrow when you return, it will either make sense or it will not. Right now, it does not matter. You set the pen down, not in its holder, just on the desk beside the pad. Your arm feels lighter without it, almost floating, and you let your hand rest palm down on the wood, fingers spread, feeling the coolness of the surface, the faint grain beneath your skin. You close your eyes, and the numbers are still there, written on the inside of your eyelids, columns of time compressed into geometry. You do not try to think about them. You just let them exist, the way stars exist, without asking to be understood. Your breathing slows, and somewhere in the building a pipe ticks softly as metal contracts in the cold. The radiator stops. You do not notice it at first, because the sound has been with you so long tonight that it has become part of the room's architecture, like the walls, like the weight of the books on their shelves. But then the silence arrives, and you feel it more than hear it, a sudden absence where the metallic ticking had been. The room is quieter now than it has been all night, and in that new quiet you become aware of your own breathing. Slow, steady, the only rhythm left. You sit very still. Your hands rest on the edge of the desk, palms against the cool wood, fingers not moving. The legal pad is in front of you in the last line still wet, where the ink has not quite dried. But you are not reading it now. You are listening to the stillness, to the way the room has changed, without the radiator's small mechanical voice. It is strange how you can miss a sound you are not consciously hearing, how its absence can make the space feel larger, emptier, as if something that was holding the night together has let go. Your breath sounds loud to you now, each inhale, each exhale, deliberate in a way it was not before. You close your eyes, just for a moment, meaning to open them again, meaning to look back at the numbers, at the line you have just written. But the darkness behind your eyelids is soft, and the quiet is deeper with your eyes closed, and you do not open them immediately. You can still feel the pen in your right hand, the slight weight of it, the grooves where your fingers have pressed. You could open your eyes now. You could write another line, but you do not yet. The campus outside is silent. The light in the window across the yard is still there. You can sense it even through closed lids. A faint warmth against the general dark. Someone else awake, someone else working through something they cannot let go of. You think about the 10 seconds again, but differently now. Not as numbers on a page, but as something you are inside. This moment, this breath, this pause between the radiator stopping and whatever comes next, all of it, the stars you have studied, the distances you have tried to explain, the vastness you have spent years teaching others to see, all of it is also here, in this small room, in this quiet, in the space between one breath and another. You do not open your eyes, not yet. The stillness holds you, and you let it. You lean back in the wooden chair and feel the joints creak slightly under your weight. The sound, small and private in the empty office. The armrest is cool against your forearm, smooth wood worn by years of other hands. Other people who sat here, thinking about other things. You can feel the grain under your palm. Fine ridges running lengthwise, and you let your thumb trace them without looking back and forth. The temperature difference is distinct where your skin meets the surface, the wood pulling heat from you slowly, steadily. You shift your weight and the chair creaks again. A different note this time, lower. The back presses against your shoulder blades, solid, unyielding. You let your head tip back and look at the ceiling, the fluorescent light buzzing faintly above you. A sound you had stopped hearing hours ago, but that returns now in the quiet. It hums at a frequency you cannot quite name, something between a note and a vibration. The ceiling is white acoustic tile, small holes patterned in rows, and you follow one row with your eyes, left to right, counting them without meaning to. There is a slight draft from the window behind you, not cold, just moving air, and it touches the back of your neck where your collar has loosened. You close your eyes. The chair holds you. The legal pad is still on the desk. The numbers still there, January 1st to December 31st. 15 billion years compressed into 365 days. You worked it out by hand, the conversion factors, the ratios, checking each step, and the arithmetic was simple once you had the structure. Division, multiplication, powers of 10. It was the kind of problem you might have given to an undergraduate, except for what it meant. You open your eyes again. The ceiling has not changed. The light still hums. You can feel your heartbeat in your fingertips where they rest on the armrest, steady, regular. Each pulse a fraction of a second. You think about seconds, how many there are in a year, 31,536,000. You wrote it down earlier. And how many years in the history of the universe? 15 billion. The numbers are too large to feel, but you can feel the chair, the wood, the slight give in the cushion beneath you, the way the armrest has warmed now where your skin touches it, pulling heat until there is no difference anymore. You let your hand rest there, still. The draft moves across your neck again, and you do not turn to look at the window. You stay here, in the chair, in the office, in the building, on the campus, on the planet, in the solar system, in the galaxy, in the universe that began on January 1st and that arrives second by second. At the last moment of December 31st, you set the pen down, and you do not pick it up again. The pad lies open in front of you, the last line still wet, and you let your hand rest beside it, palm flat against the wood of the desk. The grain is smooth under your fingers, worn by years of other hands, other thoughts. You feel the coolness of it, the way it holds, the temperature of the room. Your thumb traces a small groove near the edge, something carved there long ago, and you follow it without thinking, back and forth, a rhythm that asks nothing of you. Your breathing has slowed. You notice it now, the way your chest rises and falls, the air moving in and out without effort, without instruction. Each breath arrives on its own, fills the space it needs, and leaves again. You feel your heartbeat in your wrists, in the place where your forearm rests against the desk, a steady pulse, quiet, patient. It has been beating all this time while you calculated and checked and wrote, and it will continue after you stand and walk to the door and turn off the light. The window across the yard is dark now. Whoever was there has gone. The campus is silent, or perhaps you have simply stopped hearing it. Your shoulders settle lower. The tension you did not know you were holding lets go, and your spine curves slightly, your head tipping forward just enough that your gaze rests on the yellow paper without reading it. The numbers are still there. The columns, the conversions, the 10 seconds at the end of the year. But they do not pull at you anymore. They are simply marks on a page, ink on paper, a thought you had and wrote down and can leave now. Your eyes grow heavy, not with sleep exactly, but with a kind of softness, a willingness to let the room hold you without asking what comes next. The air is still. Your breath is steady, the calculations are done, and the night folds itself around you like something that has always been here, waiting, patient, asking nothing at all.